Okay, so getting back to the car, I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible. I tend to ramble on. If you didn't notice that, I've always got a story to tell, which is part of the reason why I created this channel, was just because I can't shut up. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry to have put you through it. But anyways, so the car. Love the car, okay? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to JRsCorner. I am JR. It is a couple of days ahead of July 4th. It's actually July 1st. That's what day it is. I just remembered. I was like, what day is it? I'm still stuck in like April. Anyways, July 1st, so it's Wednesday. I was originally planning on making a quick trip up to Utah this weekend to pick up my family that's up there. And I was going to rent a car and do a review on the car and, make a video out of it and all of that. And hopefully not as long as the last one, because it was way too long. And so that was my original plan. Just a quick weekend trip up and back over the weekend. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Due to a family emergency, I had to head up there a couple days earlier, and I'm actually driving my TL up there, and then I'm going to tow it back home with my Suburban. So it kind of changed my plans, obviously, but on a good note, it gives me the chance to take my TL on another road trip. I haven't had any road trips in this car since I bought it back in March, and so this is her first real adventure outside of Arizona since we drove from Pennsylvania several months ago. So figured it would be a good opportunity to make a quick video highlighting some of the things, now that I've had the car for a few months, highlighting some of the things that I really like about the car, and maybe I can think of a couple that I don't like. I don't know, we'll figure that out as we go along here. So I don't know if you guys were made aware of it, but I believe I had talked about it at one point where my air conditioner was acting kind of funny, and I had taken it into the shop to have them take a look at it, because I don't have the machine to mess with air conditioning, refrigerant and vacuum and all that stuff. And so I took it into the shop to see if they could figure out what was going on. And the first time I took it in, they said it was a little bit low. We took care of it, everything's fine, there's no leaks, everything's fine. But I noticed there was an issue where it was still acting funny, idling funny. You'd hear the compressor kick on, and the engine was just doing weird things when the compressor would kick on and like idle. And so I ended up taking it back, because at one point I was driving from my house into town, and for a good 30 minutes of that drive, which it's about a 45-minute drive, for a good 30 minutes of that drive, I didn't have air conditioning. It just wasn't working. Like, it was on, it was blowing, it just wasn't blowing cold. And so I took it back to the dealer. I was like, hey, I thought you guys said this was good. What's going on? And that's when they gave me the TLX loaner that I did the review on. And the car was with them for several days. And over the course of those days, they told me that they didn't do anything. They told me that everything checked out fine. They couldn't duplicate the problem, etc., etc. Which, being someone who used to be a tech at a dealership, I know for a fact that sometimes that's just something they say when they're trying to cover a mistake. And they just say that nothing was found, and then they'll take care of it, and, you know, everything's fine. I think also additionally part of the initial repair was they replaced the oh shoot, I can't think of the names, the valve cores for the AC access lines. Why can't I think of the name? It was speed trap ahead. Per Google Maps. Like, Google Maps running today to notify me of things, because I have not yet bought the Valentine one. So I've got Google trying to help me out today. I don't need no tickets. I already ran my course with that the last trip. Anyways, so the valve cores on the AC access piece, those were replaced. What is that called? I don't know. It totally slipped my mind. Anyways, so those valve cores were replaced, and you know, and then it still was having issues. So the second time, they said they couldn't duplicate it. They said, you know, after multiple days that there was no issues. And I actually, when I took it in the second time, it was acting up when I took it in, and I showed the guy that wrote me up what it was doing. So, you know, that way I had a witness, so to speak. And so then I didn't hear from him. Couldn't get a hold of him because, you know, a lot of places they have like the general number, and then they transfer you to the service writer's desk, and I couldn't get a hold of the guy. So finally I just drove the TLX up there, showed up, and he was actually in a meeting at his desk with two techs that supposedly had been messing with my car and scratching their heads with it, supposedly. But I'll tell you this, since that visit, so I got the car, like I just took the car that day, and I was like, oh, all right, well, if you can't figure nothing out, fine, I'll take the car, I'll let you know if there's any more issues. So I got the car back, and then since that moment, supposedly when there was nothing wrong and nothing they could find, since then I haven't had any issues with it. So I'm convinced they did something. I don't know what, but they had to have done something, because I haven't had any issues with the AC. It blows nice and cold. In fact, sometimes it gets too cold, which is great, because in Arizona, I love cold in the summertime. Okay, so getting back to the car, I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible. I tend to ramble on. If you didn't notice that, I've always got a story to tell, which is part of the reason why I created this channel, was just because I can't shut up. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry to have put you through it. But anyways, so the car, love the car, okay? One of the first things I pointed out about the car that I needed to correct was the upholstery, the front seats being tore up and, you know, just aged. And I had a place in Oklahoma that I had used the last time I bought upholstery for my previous TL that was just a base TL. And thinking that I could get upholstery through them, I was like, oh, that's no big deal. I'll just order my custom upholstery through them, and then I'll install it when it shows up. No big deal. What I have learned since then is that they said that the TLS has a different bolster size than the base model, meaning that the sides of the seat and the middle section, there's a different shape to it. And that's all fine and dandy, with the exception of the fact that going off of that, it's hard to find someplace that specifically, I just said specifically. There's a word I can't say. Specifically, I think I said it right that time. Specifically, has upholstery for the TLS. There's plenty that have it for the base, but none for the TLS. So, here's where I'm at with that. Because that's probably my biggest pet peeve, is the interior upholstery, needing to get that fixed, because I hate having a towel on the seat. I actually got pulled over here a few weeks ago, right in front of my house. Totally got profiled by my local police department. He said I took the turn too wide to turn onto the main road that goes past my street. That was his excuse for pulling me over. Then he made me roll down all my windows. And he made me roll down all my windows because I rolled down my driver window, I rolled down my passenger window. That's just something I do all the time. And then I could hear him as he was coming up. He asked me to roll down the back window here. And so then I rolled down that back window so that he could see in. And, I don't know what I know what he was looking for. Oftentimes, because I have dark tint on the car, oftentimes they want to make sure that, it's safe and whatever. And I'm more than happy to accommodate that. I want them to be safe just like I want to be safe during that type of interaction. Their safety is just as important to me as my own. And so, of course, I obliged him, and I had the towel that I'm sitting on, which is like a weird dark brown color, sitting on the back seat. And he had told me when he approached my window that he thought that towel was a ballistic vest at first glance. Which just, I was like, what? Like, that just seemed so crazy to me. So, anyways, I gave him my license and showed him my registration and insurance and all that crap. And he didn't go back to his truck. He just did it over his radio, like on his shoulder. And just checked to make sure my license was good. Which was weird, because normally they'll go back to their truck. And this is the first time I've had an interaction like this. So then once the license came back that everything was good, he starts asking me questions about the car. Is it fast? How fast does it go? I'm like, you're not going to get me to talk about any of that. I don't know. As fast as the speed limit on the freeway, I've taken it up to 80, I'm not going to sit here and incriminate myself to this cop. And then he asked me to step out of the car so that he could search the car. Now, I don't know. Oh, well, of course he asked like weapons and any illegal drugs, any of that kind of stuff. He asked that, and then he asked me to get out of the car so he could search it, which most of the time you should have probable cause for, if not all the time, you should have probable cause for. So I don't know why he felt like he needed to search my car, other than the fact that he thought there was a ballistics vest in my backseat. and so I get out and I go and stand off the side of the road. And mind you, again, this is right in front of my house, basically, like right in front of my neighborhood. And I actually took this picture while I was standing there waiting for him to search the car. And, I don't know what the crap he was doing. I don't know if he was bored or whatever. But I knew that whatever probable cause he felt was there, if I refused the inspection, or the whatever you want to call it, that he was just going to make me chill there until a dog got there. I didn't have that kind of time. I was actually, it was just before I was supposed to get on my computer at my house for work. I'm working from home right now. And it was right before I was supposed to get on my computer to start my day. I just ran to McDonald's quick to grab me some breakfast. And this dude pulls me out of the car. Oh, it was pretty funny. So I wasn't, I'm trying to make the best of my time. I wasn't, if I would have had more time, I may have very well made him get a dog out there to sniff the car or whatever. But anyways, back to my normal story. So, car's been great. Upholstery needs some love. And I have taken the car I have called a couple places there in Arizona, in the Phoenix area, trying to get quotes. Because you know what? If I can't get like a pre-made set that I can install myself, I might as well take it to an upholstery shop that does custom work and have it done the way I want it, so that it looks good for years and years and years to come. So that I can have the seats match the console, match the doors, everything. And nobody wants to call me back. I've called multiple places. Nobody wants to give me a call back so I can get a quote, or even tell me, hey, bring your car down and we'll take a look at it and see what we can do and see what we think. Nobody wants to talk to me about my car doing the upholstery. So, I think I found a solution. So there's this company out there, they're online, on the interwebs. They're called Endless RPM. And I'm going to give them a shout out because they seem to be very much in tune with the TL market. I actually ordered some lights for my trunk lid for the backup lights and the license plate lights, and I'm going to be putting those on soon. I actually ordered a custom plate for my car and I'm waiting for that to show up, and then I was going to make a video about all of that. And so I've got these lights that just showed up for my TL. Going to install those as part of a future video. And their website has probably got the most accurate TL, not only base TL, but also Type S TL stuff that I've seen on any website. They do, your normal stuff like your roof spoilers and your regular spoilers, and they make carbon fiber trunk lids and ducktail spoilers and carbon fiber hoods, carbon fiber fenders. Like, they got tons of stuff, lights, you name it. In those retrospects, they've got it. But here's where they go a step further. They've got custom-made headlights. They will actually take your steering wheel and make a custom steering wheel out of it. They've got a whole bunch of pictures about that. and they've got custom upholstery. And I follow them on Instagram on my personal account, and I tell you what, I seen them put up a post the other day about it was a red interior. It was all just plain red. They do a diamond red, and then they do like a plain red, leather red interior. It looked really nice, but I don't necessarily want red. Okay, I'm trying to keep the car dark. Obviously it's a TL, so the Type S, so the interior is red themed. So I was like, all right, even though I prefer blue to red, I think I can get behind the red. And so I actually sent them an email the other day asking if they made black, if they could do custom interiors for the Type S. And he says for the Type S, they've got a black with red stitching, or a black with red piping, which is like an edging almost. So I think I'm gonna see how much the red stitching is, and then maybe I'll take it to a local shop to see if they can match the doors to the seats once I get the seats done. So with that being said, we are approaching Flagstaff. I'm heading north. I'm gonna shut this off and just use this as my time here. I don't know if this is going to be any good, but there's some stories for you. Some stories about getting profiled, and because my stock-looking TL is apparently hot, apparently it looks like it goes fast. Because the cop definitely wanted to know all about that. And then I think we're done. So, love my TL. Love that I get to take it on a road trip again. We're going to tow it back home. I'll probably shoot some stuff for that as well. I'm going to do a video here pretty soon on my Suburban as well, because I was trying to do videos on everything that was in my intro, and I've done my truck, I've done my Accord, I've done my TL, even though the TL wasn't exactly in the intro. My other TL was my old TL, which obviously I can't use that, so this is the replacement. And so the next step was the Suburban. The Suburban I'm excited to do because the Suburban's actually probably my most beefed up vehicle. So I'm excited to do that one, share that one with you. Even though it is my kid hauler, she is definitely meant to have some fun as well. So with that, signing off at 7,000 feet, just past the sign for it. Signing off at 7,000 feet. Thanks for watching. Hope you appreciate the stories and got at least a laugh out of it, because I think it's hilarious. And stay safe out there. No hoarding toilet paper, even though that hasn't seemed to be a problem lately. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoy it. Deuces. What's up?